Out today, I call it the crud, as we sometimes call it. But I'm glad you're here and able to be here. And I'm glad to see a few people here who haven't been here in a while because they've been sick or they've been out of town or couldn't get here, other things going on. But it's good to see y'all here this morning. Let's pray together and ask God's blessing on the service and trust Him for a wonderful service this morning. Father, we thank you for this day, for the privilege to be in church. We're mindful of those of our fellowship and congregation that are not here because they're sick. Lord, many of them like Harold and Shirley, they're in a bad way. We pray for them. And I ask you, Lord, that you would touch this service today. Be with it, be in our very midst. Lord, speak to us through the music and through the singing. Speak to us, Lord, through the message. Speak to us, Lord, personally in our heart today. Deal with us, Lord, where we need to be dealt with. and encourage us where we need to be encouraged. Just have your way in this service, Lord. Jesus said that we should pray, oh Lord, not my will, but thy will be done. We ask it surely would be this day. I pray that every young person will be attending to the service. That the distractions, Lord, that they'd not be distracted, that they'd listen, and they'd open up their heart. I pray for every man or every woman, pray for every senior citizen, that they too, Lord, would open up their heart today and listen to the message and be moved by the Word of God through the ministry of the Holy Spirit. Bless our country today. God, ever lead us back to you, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Now,
Good morning. A couple of quick announcements for you. One thing that's not in your bulletin. Tonight after the service, anybody that's in the Sunday school program, any of the teachers, especially kids teachers, if you'll meet, we're going to have a meeting next door, I guess, like we normally do, in this first room over here after church tonight. Very quick meeting about spring Sunday school campaign and everything, just kind of hash a few things out. So if you teach Sunday school, make sure you're here tonight, and make sure you're over there in the meeting after church. This Tuesday is the Owls meeting. If you haven't signed up for it yet, there's a few slots still left on the sheet back there. I took a look at it. There are 3 or 4 sheets through now. So make sure you sign up so they get an accurate count of how much food and how many tables and chairs to put out. And that'll be coming up this Tuesday at 11:30. Brother Mike Soup will be here. A wonderful man, involved most of us, I think, have heard him preach. Maybe all of us have. He's a great guy. You'll really enjoy getting to know him and having him come and speak. And of course, the end of the month, this is Missions Month. And I'm sure there'll be more talk about this throughout the month, so I'm not going to take a lot of time to talk about faith promise and everything, but there's information in your bulletin about that, about how we handle faith promise missions here at the church. You can take a look at that towards the bottom of the first page there, second page. And there's some missionaries coming in at the end of the month. And then Brother Keith Allison, I believe, is still coming in the 1st of March, the first Sunday in March. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up. So be praying for those, be praying about faith promise, be praying how the church can help more missionaries and how we individually can each help missionaries and what God would have us to give in missions. And one more thought, and then I'll sit down. We did a comedy show last night. There's a few people here that were at the show last night. And we had over 100 people in a room with only 88 chairs. So there's a lot of people standing around. It was a fun show. It was a great show last night. A wonderful time. And there were about as many people there last night as there are here in this room today. And we talked about it this morning in Sunday school in Acts chapter 10. Peter went to see Cornelius, and there were probably over 100, maybe 200 people there in that house, that courtyard or whatever, when he was preaching to those people. And last night when I was telling jokes, because they thought I was funny, all of them laughed back at me. It was great. It was a wonderful experience. And I remember reading about Peter, and Peter preached, and everybody in that courtyard in Cornelius' house got saved that day. And everybody in here, we all have the same opportunity. Because we've been singing all morning about it and thinking all week about it. And we're here to worship the same God. And we all have an opportunity to come together and to worship and make a decision to do something for God today, individually and together as a church. And I pray that today we come together and we worship God as a unit and as individuals, so that we can leave here with something extra that we needed. Because we all came here today needing something. And I pray that we all find it before we leave here today. And before I keep going, I'm going to take all the sermon time. So I'm going to let Bill talk.
Hymn number 325, Trust and Obey. When we walk with the Lord in the light of His sun, all glory sheds on our way. While we do this good will, He abides with us here, and with all who will trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way. race to serve the Lord and to look upon His face when the way gets hard and the times get rough. I know there's one thing for sure, got my mind made up. Well, my foot's on the rock and my mind's made up. I may walk along the valley, I may drink from the bitter cup. When the devil comes knocking, showing me another way, I'll stand right square on my feet, I'll throw my head in the air, I'll look him straight in the eye, I'll say my foot's on the rock and my mind's made up. Well, Job was a man who was tempted every way. The devil took his family, he lay sick both night and day. Job's wife came to say, curse your God, you've had enough. He said, you talk like a foolish woman, I've got my mind made up. Well, my foot's on the rock and my mind's made up. I may walk along the valley, I may drink from the bitter cup. When the devil comes knocking, showing me another way, I'll stand right square on my feet, I'll throw my head in the air, I'll look him straight in the eye, I'll say my foot's on the rock and my mind's made up. Well, my foot's on the rock and my mind's made up. I may walk along the valley, I may drink from the bitter cup. When the devil comes knocking, shows me another way, I'll stand right square on my feet, I'll throw my head in the air, I'll look him straight in the eye, I'll say my foot's on the rock, I'll stand right square on my feet, I'll throw my head in the air, I'll look him straight in the eye, I'll say my foot's on the rock, I'll stand right square on my feet, I'll throw my head in the air, I'll look him straight in the eye, I'll say my foot's on the rock and my mind's made up. Well, the devil comes knocking, showing me another way, I'll say my foot's on the rock and my mind's made
Go. I go if I had to go by myself. I go if I had to go by myself. If my mother, if my father, all my sisters, all my brothers, I go if I had to go by myself. I go if I had to go by myself. I go if I had to go by myself. If my mother, if my father, all my sisters, all my brothers, I go if I had to go by myself. I say, if I had to say by myself. I say, if I had to say by myself. If my mother, if my father,
Jesus, hymn 323. Lord, about Jesus.
Chapter number 9, just a few verses in each place. Matthew chapter number 9 and John chapter number 4. It is Missions Month. We haven't been mentioning too much about it, but today I want to make a special emphasis on the fact that this is our Missions Month, where we begin to remind you to make your commitments for another year. And we got two missionaries coming in next week, one in the morning, one on Sunday night. Then we have Brother Keith Allison on the first Sunday in March. And then on the first Sunday in April, we have a young man and his wife and two kids from Costa Rica. Brother Alan Delgado will be here all day with us that day, morning and night. So we're going to hear him preach and meet his family, get to know them on the first Sunday in April. That will finish up our 4 weeks or so, 5 weeks of missions. The next couple of weeks we'll be handing out the faith promise cards and trusting that you'll do at least what you did last year and maybe some more this year. Faith promises, how we support our missionaries, our ministry of GPA. Very important to the ministry of our church. And y'all have been so good and so faithful these last 12, 14 years that I've been overseeing it and having the missions days, missions emphasis. It's been a wonderful experience from year after year. God has increased the amount, and we've given more, and God is blessed. So let's keep it up, okay? All right, John chapter 4. How many got to this place? John chapter 4, raise your hand. Show me your Bible. Hold your Bible up. That's the best thing you'll have in your hand all day, right there. Amen. All right, you can read with me, beginning in verse 35. Say not ye, there are 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes, and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest. He that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. And herein is that saying true, one soweth and another reapeth. I sent you to reap that whereupon ye bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and ye are entered into their labors. And many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman, that which testified, he told me all things that ever I did. Now back to the book of Matthew, if you will, chapter number 9, verse 35. Chapter 9, verse 35 of Matthew, he says this, Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. But when he saw the multitudes, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted, and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Then saith he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore that the Lord of harvest will send forth laborers into his harvest. Let's pray together. Lord, I pray that you bless the preaching of your word this morning. You know how I feel physically, Lord, and how I stand before you this morning as a weak human being, needing your help to preach this message and make the impact that it needs to make. And Lord, I pray it would just be the impact that you desire. And God, you'd have your way in this service this morning. In Jesus' name, amen. It's on my heart this morning to preach to you on the subject of why missions. Why missions? It would certainly seem like a question that shouldn't need to be asked here at GAlilean. We have been supporting missionaries for the entire life of this church, over 50 years. We independent Baptists have been in the forefront of missions around the world for over 100 years. So we should know by now what it's all about. Why missions? Well, some less enlightened folks might say, well, it's been over 2,000 years. Haven't we evangelized the world yet? Haven't we gotten to the whole world yet? Well, the answer to that question is simply no, we haven't. We haven't gotten to the whole world. There's plenty of people out there in America who's never heard the gospel. Plenty of people out there in America who don't know what it's all about. This week I had the occasion to use the Uber. You know what Uber is? The Uber, not Uber. And a young man came pick me up at the house, and I got in the back of the car, and we started down the road. He told me his name. His name was Abner. I told him my name. We talked for a little bit. And so I got in the back seat. We talked back and forth. And I asked him, did he know his name was a Bible name? He said, well, he'd heard that. He knew it was. He'd heard that. And I talked to him about the story of Abner, and how Abner was David's general, and how he was such a great man. And then I told him how Abner died and what happened and all that. And he seemed to know absolutely nothing about any of that. And I thought to myself, and then of course I talked to him about how Abner had died outside the city of refuge, and how that Joab had smote him and killed him with a knife under his fifth rib and stabbed him in the heart. And I said, David mourned for Abner, or David mourned for him. And he said to him, he said, you died as a fool died. He was one step outside the city of refuge. And I said, of course, the city of refuge talks about being in Jesus Christ and being safe from the devil. And then the ride was over. And I couldn't talk to him anymore. But his name was Abner. And I encouraged him to read the Bible about the story of Joab and Abner and David and all that. But he had never read it, never had a clue. It's hard to believe here in America. A young man reaches his age in life, and no one has ever told him about Jesus. No one's ever explained to him the story of his own name, where it came from. So why missions? Because everyone has not heard.
Amen.
Everyone has not listened. Everyone has not been told. Some others might say, well, we've got all this great technology. Why don't we just use that? We are trying to use that. But not everybody's being reached with that. Some would say, preacher, why are you constantly calling for money and for manpower? Why are you constantly pushing this? Because the world is in need of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Somebody might ask and say, preacher, why should I give up my life? Why should I give up my lifelong dreams, plans, and ambitions to have a life to live a life of dependency? Being dependent upon the gifts and the love offerings of churches and the ministry of other churches. Why should I give up my ambitions and my dreams and my job to go out on deputation to raise support, then only to realize down the road that some of them lied to me, that they're not going to keep their support. They're going to keep going. Why should I put my family in that kind of jeopardy? Why can't I just live at home here? Why can't I just be myself and enjoy life like everybody else is doing? Why missions? Why? Why should I even consider for one moment? Why? For one moment, such a life of sacrifice. Believe me, these missionaries sacrifice. They sacrifice. You go off to somewhere to live for a few years in a foreign country and you'll find out what it's like not to live in America. Brother Talbot used to say this. He said, as far as I'm concerned, he said, anywhere outside America is like camping out. You ever watch these HGTV shows about apartment hunting and house hunting over in Europe? Have you ever watched those things and saw how sparsely decorated and how sparsely furnished those places are? I mean, great day, it's amazing. We look at that and we say, how can those folks live like that over there? Well, that's their culture. That's the way they do it. And for an American sometimes to leave America and go over there to some place like Bulgaria, or someplace like, where was Johnny Davis at? Moldova. For somebody to go over there in someplace like, or down south, like in someplace like Argentina, where all the turmoil is going on. And to give up life in America. One of my fellows over in Wales, he came over here, his name was Steve Strange. He brought his family over here for a vacation. And when he came back to Wales, he said, why do y'all live over here? Why do y'all want to live over here? In America, I want to go to America, he said. And somebody else over there, he wanted to come over here and start a fish and chip shop. He thought that'd go over big over here, fish and chips. I said, it is. It's called Long John Silver's. It's called Captain P's. It's called the Fish House. Yeah, it go over big, all right. Just a little different than it goes over there. But they say to me, why are you living over here? When you got everything in the world over in America. Why do that? Why give up and go away and miss your kids miss growing up with your grandparents around? It's so much different. Why missions? Why me? Why should I even consider it? Why should I think about it when so many others are even much better qualified than I am? And I tell you what, if we really need to answer these questions, we're not as smart as we think we are. We know why there's a need for missions around the world. But here's your answer. Why missions? Because He gave His life for you. Amen. Why should anyone go? Because He gave His life for you. Why should I give? Because He gave His life for you. He gave His life. He came to rescue you when you were drowning in sin. He lifted you up when you were sinking in sorrow. He redeemed you. When you had sold yourself to sin, He took your sin, your guilt, and your shame, and He bore it in His own body when He died on the cross. Amen. Why missions? Why? Why take $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 a week out of my paycheck and promise to give it to the church? Promise to give it to missions work through the church. I mean, there's lots of obvious reasons why we're asking the question today of why missions? Why missions? Well, number one, because there is an awesome place called heaven. I'm telling you, an awesome place called heaven. A place of matchless beauty, happiness, everlasting fellowship with God. A place in heaven where sickness doesn't exist, where death does not come, where hatred is not allowed, where strife is not condoned. A place called heaven where there is peace and joy and love in God. There's a lot of reasons to go. So other people might go to heaven with you. Yeah. So other people might go to heaven. They didn't know the Lord Jesus Christ. How are they going to know? The Bible says, how shall they hear except one be sent? How shall they hear except one tell them? How shall one tell them except they be sent? And the Bible tells us that we are to be sending people to the four corners of the world, to all around the world, reaching people with the message of the gospel of Christ. Would you like it if your loved one was never told? I read this story some years and years ago. A man was going down I think it was in Honduras or someplace like that, Guatemala. And he was going up through the villages, up through the country, and stopping in each village. And witnessing, talking to people about Jesus Christ. And he couldn't win anybody to the Lord, couldn't get any progress, but he kept on going until he got to the very last village, and to the very last house in that village. He knocked on the door. A woman came to the door, and he began to tell her who he was and what he was there for, and began to share with her the gospel. And she began to cry. She said, "What took you so long? My father was a Christian. He said someone would come someday, and he's gone, and what took you so long?" We have to ask ourselves the question sometimes. Why linger? Why wait? Why not do it right now? Why not get involved now? Why not promise now? Why not trust God now? I'll tell you something else. Why missions? Because there's an awful place called hell. An awful, terrible place called hell. Why missions? See that guy? See the hollowness in his eyes? The anguish in his face? Hear the cry of his mouth. Send Lazarus to dip his finger in water, that he may touch my tongue, because I'm tormented in this heat. Why missions? Not only because there's a hell in the game, but there's an awful hell to shun. Amen. You and I, for 1 second, can stand on the brink of eternity and look out into the pit, the chasm and the pit called hell. For just for 1 second, we can hear their cries. For 1 second, we can feel the heat. For 1 second, we can experience the anguish of it. It would change our life forever and ever. Forevermore. Why missions? Because people are dying and going to hell. That's why. There will be people out of this room today that will die and go to hell, no doubt about it. Unless you turn your life around, unless you change your attitude toward Christ and trust Him as your Savior today, you'll die and go to hell. Could be that some of you here are putting your own posterity in jeopardy by rejecting Jesus Christ. Your own grandchildren, great-grandchildren down the way. Why? Why missions? Because there's a heaven, wonderful, beautiful place, but there's a hell, terrible, terrible, awful place. It's a place where many are entering every second of every day. A place where the fire is not quenched and the worm dieth not. The graphic is shocking. It's shocking. I agree. I know it's shocking. But it gets a point across. Why missions? Why missions? Our text this morning gives me 3 reasons why we should continue on with missions. Number 1, why we need missions? Because the task is so great. You might ask, well, why is it so great? Because the harvest truly is plenteous. You heard what Jesus said. Did you notice that with over 7.5 billion, maybe nearly 8 billion people in the world today, maybe more, that the task is just enormous. The job is enormous. And with over 330 million people in America today and millions more just outside our borders, there's a lot of work to do. A tremendous amount of work to do. Now we're all here in this little snug in this little corner of Lawrenceville, and we're calm and we're at peace and we're happy. But just down the road from us, there's people who are wondering what they're going to do to make it through life and how they're going to get through the crisis that they just found themselves in. There's a woman just found out this past week that she's got cancer, and it's bad. There's a man somewhere this week that has realized that his strength is going to fail him, and the sickness that his heart disease is going to take his life, and the doctors have told him there's nothing they can do. There's a family this morning in Lawrenceville, perhaps, whose baby has been taken to the hospital sick this morning, and they're worried to death about that baby and how it's going to survive. And they have nobody to lean on, no one to look to, nobody to call out to, nobody to cry out to and say, help me, help me. Because they don't know the Lord. The reason they don't know the Lord is because we haven't made him known. Why missions? Because the task is so great. And then number two, Jesus said, because the laborers are so few. The laborers are so few. Now, I'm going to say this, it might make some of y'all mad, but let's do it anyway. The number of real Christians in the world is few. When I say real Christians, I mean blood-bought, blood-washed, born again, saved, child of God, sold out, committed, dedicated to the cause of Christ, ready to do, ready to go, ready to give whatever God calls upon him to give. The number of those kind of people in the world is few. Real Christians. And the number of people in the world that are willing to do the job. Did you know that if every student in every Bible college in America today gave their life to missions, it still wouldn't be enough? It still wouldn't be enough? You say, well, what can we do about it? Well, the answer is simple. Involve yourself in the work of God. Pray for workers. God said, pray ye the Lord of harvest, that he would send forth laborers into the harvest. Somehow God has connected sending with praying. Surrender yourself. Be willing to do whatever God calls upon you to do. Be willing to say, God, as the song said, Albert sang, if I have to go by myself, I'll sing if I have to sing by myself. I'll go if no one else goes with me. Isaiah heard the Lord say, whom shall I send and who will go for us? And Isaiah stood up and said, here I am, Lord, here am I, send me. There's very few people in the world today who truly willingly and fully commit themselves and say, Lord, whatever you want me to do, that's what I'll do. You may not have a clue. You may not know what tomorrow holds for you. But if you'll put your hand and your life in the Lord, in the hand of life, and your life in the hands of the Lord Jesus Christ, he'll prepare you, and he'll take you to great places and use you in wonderful ways. Pray for workers. We can't send out headhunters and recruit people like businesses can. We have to pray and let God call them into the ministry. We have to pray and let God bring them into the ministry. Of course, we can always give. Giving is not that hard. Giving is like this right here. Reach in your pocket. Peel off a few dollars. Maybe 5 or 10. See what I got here? I got $15. I think I got $15, $20, $25. How much of that can I give for missions today? How much? How much really can I? This is my toting around money. This is my jet planet money. How much more? How much of that could I really give to missions today? Well, the truth is I could give whatever I want to give. From $1 to everything in my hand. How much of that could I give to missions today? Well, as much as God tells me to give. Oh Lord, I think I got $34 in my hand. How much of it would you want me to give you to missions today? How much? It's my money. You're easily saying that's all of it. God gave me the money. God put it in my pocket. God gave it, put it in my hand. Some of you said, well, He didn't do that for me. I worked for mine. Of course you did. But you could be laid up in the hospital on flat on your back, couldn't work for anything. God's the one who gives you the health and the strength to work, and it's a blessing of God to be able to work.
Amen.
You know, I have to say this truthfully, but the Bible doesn't provide for anybody's retirement but for the priest. And they got to retire at 50. I'm way overdue. No, that's not really the case. I'm just teasing you about that. But the faith promise missions giving is the same way. Lord, I have this much income. Lord, it takes this much money to run my household. Lord, I have this much money as what I would consider disposable income. What does that mean? It means stuff you can. It means money you can spend on ice cream. Some of y'all say that's not a disposable. That's a necessity. That's not. Everything you've got really is at your discretion until you place your life and your substance in God's hands. Then you say, Lord, how much of that money you gave me do you want me to give in missions? And I'll tell you this. I think I started out many years ago at $5. $5 a week. And I'd be embarrassed to tell you how much I give. We just cannot give today. I will tell you this, it's more than my tithe. In missions, monthly missions. So how do you survive giving that much money away? I don't know. I just know this. God said that if I would obey Him and listen to Him and trust Him, He would rebuke the devourer. He would rebuke the one who eats up my money. God said to the people in the middle of Malachi, He said, Joel maybe, He said, you've got your pockets and you got holes in your pockets. You make money and you put it in your pocket and it's got a hole in it. It falls right out the bottom. In essence, God said, if you'll just trust me and turn your life over to me and let me guide your giving, I will sew up your pockets. You know why Christians refrigerator lasts 35 years? Because God rebuked the devourer. You know why that car of yours gets 80,000 miles on a 40,000 mile set of tires? Because God rebuked the devourer. You know why you have you know why you have you know how you can give 10% of your income as a tithe, and then more than that as an offering in the missions, and you can still live on, say, 85% of your money? Of your income? You know how you can do that? Because God puts the plug in the holes in the pocket. And He stops the devourer so he don't eat it up. You say, preacher, you're talking like some kind of TV crazy preacher. You may think that, but I tell you what, I've lived it for 40 years. I've lived it for 40 years. Well, you got it made, preacher, you got a cushy job. Yeah, I do. I wish you could have it and all this Parkinson's disease that came with it. No, I don't wish I would. I shouldn't say that. You got it made. I got it made just as long as God stays on. I stay in God's good graces and God's good hands. Why missions? Well, I'm getting down to that point where it fits the service time because the time is short. Yeah. Why missions? Because the time is short. Amen. Jesus said the fields are already white in the harvest. He was looking upon the people of Sychar as they came out to meet Him at the well. And He said to His disciples, He said, hey, lift up your eyes. You've been off buying groceries for lunch, and here, I want you to understand something. Lift up your eyes and look, because they're coming to us. And they're white in the heart. They're ready to hear. They're ready to listen. They're ready to get saved. Let's put off eating lunch for a little while, fellas, because the time is short. We got to work today while it's daylight, because the night cometh when no man can work. He urged His disciples to stop thinking about themselves and their bellies and to start thinking about the needs of others. The time of reaping would come and it would soon be over. It doesn't last very long. Unless they acted very quickly, then precious souls would be lost. Manpower, He said, is needed. Fields are white in the harvest today. We need people to reap. Time of reaping will soon be over, and that which is not reaped and that which is not sheltered and not gathered, that will be lost forever. And by the way, a person's life is like that too. Our life is very short. And in a person's lifetime and in their lifespan, there's a very short window in which they can be reached for Christ. And we got to reach them in every which way we can. We got to reach them while they're hurting. Like I mentioned Steve Stranks a minute ago. Steve Stranks was hurting. His mother had just died. And I went to his house and I talked to him. And before long, his wife was saved. His kids were saved. And his whole life had turned around. Simon Connolly ran over a boy on the street that was unseer and killed him. He fell under his big truck and killed him. Simon was sitting in the dark in his home, and I went down and knocked on the door. He wouldn't come to the door, so I put a tract to the door. And on the back of that tract, it had Matthew, where it said, "Come unto me, all you that labor or heavy laden, and I'll give you rest." And Simon got saved as a result of that accident. That boy died, and his whole life was transformed. And 14 years later, his wife got saved. 14 years later. Got to reach them when they're hurting. Reach them when they're young. Young people are easy, sometimes a whole lot easier to reach, but today's young people of youth today, they're so sophisticated, they know so much, but yet, in reality, they know so little. If they don't know Christ, they don't know the main thing. Number 3, and I'm done. Why missions? Because the rewards are eternal. Those that we win to Christ will live forever. I mean, what could be better than that? Paul called his converts, he said, "You are my joy and you're my crown." Ray Bowles wrote the song, "Thank You for Giving to the Lord." And in the song, he talks about a guy who dreamed he went to heaven. And they met someone there, and you were there. He said, but there was multitudes of people lined up to come and say thank you because you gave your money, because you prayed, because you gave your time for Sunday school classes, because you taught children. And he said the line was just back as long and long, and one after another they came and said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving to the Lord." I don't doubt tonight, I don't doubt this morning that there'll be somebody one day from Costa Rica who will come up to me and say, "Preacher! Preacher! You remember that time you preached in that open hour tabernacle down there in that little town of Baraka when it was so hot you couldn't hardly breathe? You remember when you preached down there, preacher? I'm the boy, I'm the man who came forward." I said, "I want to talk to the preacher. I want to talk to the American. I speak English. I want to talk to him." And he got saved. "Preacher, that was me that day. You remember that day?" Beautiful young woman would step out of the crowd and come forward and say, "Preacher, you remember me? I'm that lady that you saw come in. And you thought how lovely that lady is, how well kept she is. And you thought, I'm the lady you thought, I hope she gets saved today. Lord, save that lady today. I'm that lady." Over there, somebody may come up to me one day and say, "Preacher, you remember that time you went to Moldova? And you preached for Johnny Davis? Do you remember what you preached on that day, preacher? You preached on a bruised reed, smoking flags. And preacher, do you remember that day? I sat there on the front row of that little church and I cried. And I got saved that day." Is there going to be any stories like that for you up in heaven? Anybody going to come up to you and say, "You know, you was at GAlilean Baptist Church, weren't you?" "Yeah, that's where I went to church." "Well, man, I remember one year in giving in the missions conference, you made a commitment to Christ. Because you made that commitment to Christ, I was saved." The rewards are great. The rewards are eternal. Oh, to hear God say to me one day, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. I'll make you ruler over many things. Well done. Well done. From start to finish, you stayed with it. From the beginning to the end, you gave your best. Well done." Oh, I wish that to be true, don't you? To receive a robe and a crown. A robe and a crown. A robe of righteousness and a crown of life. Throw at Jesus' feet and say, "Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive power and honor and glory. For Thou hast redeemed us and saved us and made us priests unto our God." It all comes back to you, Jesus. It all comes back to you. A bright mansion, yes. Streets of gold, yes. A crown of life, nothing can compare with that. That's an eternal reward. And Daniel said that they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they shall turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. What Daniel just said? Daniel just said that those who win people to Christ will shine in heaven like bright stars. The brightness of our, listen, you will walk around heaven, and I don't doubt this for a minute. You will walk around heaven and you will shine. Your shine, if I can put it that way, your shine, your glow, your radiance will have been determined by the life you lived on earth and the people you won and the work that you did. Daniel said, they that turn many to righteousness shall shine as the stars forever and ever. Oh, to be among God's shining ones. Shining ones. To be numbered among the shining ones of heaven. Now, if you've gotten the message this morning, you've been asking yourself this morning, why missions? Well, why missions? Would you be willing this morning, do you think you could be willing this morning to say, Lord, if you want me to go to the mission field, I'll go. Maybe not to spend a lifetime, maybe to spend 10, 12 years. But Lord, if you want me to go to the mission field, I'll go. Lord, if you define my mission field right here, I'll stay. I'll work my mission field right here. But ask yourself the question this morning. If you're asking yourself, why missions? If you're asking yourself, why me? Ask yourself the question, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not me? Would you be willing to kneel at this altar today and tell God that you want to offer up yourself as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto Him? Or would you be willing to come to this altar this morning and say, preacher, not say preacher, but say, Jesus, what more can I do? One more step, Lord. What's my next step? Show me what my next step is. Lord, what you want me to do in missions? What you want me to do in giving? I've been praying about mine for weeks. In fact, I already settled the case with I told Jessica a few days ago what we were going to do. Increase ours too. Prayed about it. Y'all remember the year I told her to pray about it and get a number from God? Y'all remember that year? About 10 years ago, I said, Jessica, how about this year you pray and ask God what we should give to missions? And I thought, she's got Scottish blood, she's kind of tight. she's kind of tight, with money. And after a few days, she came back and said, let's double it, I think it was. Double it. I'm going to ask you again. Next time I'll just get an answer from God myself. But we did it. We did it. And what an amazing blessing it has been to be a part of worldwide missions through faith promise giving. Your bulletin has a couple of paragraphs in it, right at the end, that will explain to you about faith promise giving. And of course we'll be emphasizing again next week. But listen this morning. Don't just say, why missions? Won't you say, yeah, why not missions? Why not missions? Let's get it done. Let's bow our heads, please. Jesus, I have tried to follow you this morning as you led me. I trust, Lord, what I've said has been effective. And I pray, Lord, that it has been taken in the right spirit and the right attitude. But Lord, I meant no harm to anybody. I meant to discourage or to make anyone feel distressed. My biggest and only desire today, Lord, was to bring about the awareness of the need for us to continue on doing what we're doing so that people like Buddy Bryson can go to Brazil and win many souls. So that people, Lord, like Brother Delgado and his wife can serve you in their native country and win many souls to Christ. So that men like Brother Guillermo Rojas, your Lord, can continue on winning souls to Christ there in his community. So that Brother Broadstreet up in Canada can keep on winning souls in that community. Lord, and so that others all across the country and all across around the world can continue on winning people to Christ and doing the work of God. Lord, lead us now in these last days of this month to know your will concerning our giving and our going and our getting involved in the work of missions. In Jesus' name. Amen. What you got, Brother Bill?
Hymn number 97.
97. Would you please stand, please? Sing it out. God's speaking to your heart this morning. You need to come about something. You need to come and pray. Come do it right now. It's a good time to come.
I need thee every hour, most precious Lord. Oh, tender voice of love and peace of hope. I need thee, oh, I need thee, every hour I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior, I come to thee.
Come on. Come now. Feel it in your heart. Finally, you feel the touch of God. Hear the voice of God saying, go, go, go. Get saved, get saved. Go, go, go. Surrender. Go, go, go. Feel it? You hear it? It's in your hands, Lord. In your hands. Some of y'all probably wonder if this is real or not. You question yourself, well, is this real? Is this just religion, or is this just making something happen? Is this real? If you question if this is real or not, I encourage you to do what the Bible, Peter said. He said, taste and see. Try it. Taste and see. The Lord is gracious. Taste and see. Try it. Throw yourself into the loving arms of God. Throw yourself upon His mercy. Throw yourself into His care. Trust Him with all your heart. You'll find it is real.
Amen.
It's real. I was down in one of the islands. I don't know which one it was, but I heard a woman begin to sing. She began to sing and say, how well, I got the next song mixed up here. She said, how well do I remember how I doubted day by day, for I did not know for certain that my sins were washed away. Then she began to sing the chorus. She said, it's real, it's real. Praise God, I know it's real.
Amen.
Praise God, the doubts are settled, and I know it's real.
Amen.
Well, that woman started singing that just out there in the flea market, you know. Just burst out and wide open out there in the middle of nowhere, just singing right off the top of her voice. And I thought, what a blessing that is to hear that down there. What a powerful thought it is that you can know that it's real. If you're doubting that today, I'm going to sing one more verse and invite you to come. You'll never do one thing better in life than turning your life over to Jesus Christ. Will you do it today because He's pleading with you?
Amen.
One more verse, Bill.
I need thee every hour in joy or pain. Come with me and abide, for life is vain. I need thee, oh, I need thee, every hour I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior, I come to
You be seated. I feel compelled to say one more thing, and then we're going to take the offering and go home. One more thing I want to tell you is this. Jesus loves you.
Amen.
And in spite of your attitude, in spite of your doubts and fears, He loves you. I'll tell you something else. This church loves you. These people love you. I love you. If nobody else in the world ever told you that, you remember this day. Pastor Rex said, I love you. I love you. Wherever you came from, however you got here, I love you. And I want you to have the very best that God's got for you. If you'll trust Him. Trust Him today. He'll give it to you. Let's bring the ushers forward, please. Let's have the offering, please. Tonight at 6 o'clock, choir practice at 4:30. Choir sang well this morning, didn't it?
Amen.
Good service, good singing.
Amen.
Cody's got some boys here he's put to work. And that one right behind him there, that's bigger than him, that's his son. I appreciate these guys being willing to help out. Don't y'all?
Yeah.
Brother Jerry, you got on your, what do you call those? Saddle Oxfords? The two-tone shoes, they used to have a name for them.
Saddle
Saddle what?
shoes.
Saddles. That's what Pat Boone used to wear.
Oh my God.
Would I be in style if I got me some? I appreciate Jerry. He's a blessing. He's Italian, right? Aren't you from Puerto Rican? Well, I read that wrong. I thought you was from Italy.
Been there? No.
He's a blessing anyway. He and Tammy and Raven. Y'all know who they are? Tammy, stand up. Here's Raven. This is his wife and their daughter Raven. Tammy was a little girl in GAlilean. She grew up in GAlilean many throughout all these years. And then it took Jerry to bring her back when she ran away.
I started here at the age of 5.
Since the age of 5. Jerry, would you ask for a blessing on the offering? We'll go home.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the message that you gave us today about missions and the importance of missions and how we can all be missionaries in our very own way, whether it's in our own community or if we're called to go around the world. Please, dear God, bless everybody here in this church. Please bless these offerings to work towards those missions and work towards anything that you wish. We pray this in God's heavenly and precious name. Amen.